For Quarantiki. Quarantiki number 126. I'm flying completely solo this evening. I got nobody here. There ain't nobody. It's just me. It means I'm not going to be responding to a whole lot of comments, that's for sure, because I'm not going to be able to see them. But, we're gonna make up some drinks. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna see if my cat is stuck in the back here. I don't see her. She doesn't appear to be wandering out. Her brother's sitting right here on the table, looking all for the world like my studio audience. Very puzzled look on his face, actually. He's like, who are you talking to, Dad? You're not talking to me. You're not talking to my sister, so what's up, dude? I don't know what's up. Other than this is my last weekend of bachelorhood. The wife is on her way back, even as we speak. And I'm looking forward to that. They had a great time palling around in the Indiana and Ohio areas. They even dropped down into Kentucky. Yeah, so I've been to Louisville a couple of times, and those couple of times that I've been to Louisville, I've been flying in and out and haven't really been able to spend any time there. So I wasn't able to check out whether or not they had any tiki bars. They jumped down to Louisville and found Limbo and found a good tiki bar down in Louisville. So one little side jaunt from them, and they find a tiki bar that I wasn't able to find. So great, joyous. So now she's been to a tiki bar that I haven't been to, and we're going to have to remedy that at some point. The wife and Bam also got a chance to sneak over to Inferno Room while they were in Indianapolis and say hi to the folk over Inferno Room. We really like them. They do good stuff. And in fact, one of the drinks she had at the Inferno Room is inspiring the first drink that we're going to do this evening, the first cocktail we're going to do this evening. The first drink we are going to do is, of course, a toast. I don't know why, other than as I was pulling rums off the shelf to look at various things and move them around a little bit, I ran across my Admiral Rodney HMS Princessa. This is a St. Lucian rum, comes in at only 40% alcohol. I really like St. Lucian rums. Okay, I like rum in general, but Barbados rum, Jamaican rum, St. Lucian rum. The St. Lucians are doing weird things with their rum, and I like it. So there you go. So we are going to toast to having family back together, because I am looking forward to my wife being back home. So here's to family, whether by blood or by choice, coming back home. So a toast. I had some of this earlier today. It was so good. Those caramely vanilla notes. And it seemed like every time I took a nice deep sip of this, Miami quarterback hooked up with another wide receiver for a touchdown. So there's another reason for me to celebrate this evening. Miami was down by 21 points. You don't care about sports, but you're going to care about it for my sake because I'm a Dolphins fan. Miami was down by 21 points going into the fourth quarter of today's game and came back to win it. So I'm pretty ecstatic about that. It was a sloppy game, a little bit sloppy, but it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Anywho, so what are we going to do? We're going to drink some rum, rum, and a couple of other things that you haven't seen me do before. So I ran into this issue of, well, first of all, I'm going to do the drink variation I'm going to do a variation of a cocktail. So we have the Aviation cocktail. And the Aviation cocktail, which is a classic cocktail and one that both Star and I quite enjoy, which is gin, lemon juice, Luxardo, and creme de violette. Little story there on the Aviation is how we got attached to People's Drug in some ways. We were looking at the back bar at People's Drug some years ago and found that they had all the ingredients to do an Aviation. And we asked the bartender to make an Aviation. He said, I'm sorry, I don't have the maraschino liqueur. And we kind of looked at him strangely and pointed to the Luxardo bottle. And he's like, oh, is that maraschino? That bartender didn't last very long. And People's Drug does an amazing job. And we've been going back to them ever since. So, run by the amazing John Schott, amongst various other people that are quite good that he brings in. So, we're going to do a variation on an Aviation. But here's the thing. While Star was at the Inferno Room, they did a drink called the Garden of Simple, which, judging from the ingredients, which were printed on the menu, and that's no guarantee that all the ingredients were there, essentially what they did is they swapped out the Luxardo, and put in Orgeat for that. Okay, I can completely see that working. But I didn't want to just do the Inferno Room's cocktail because, well, she can get the Inferno Room cocktail being in Indianapolis. So I wanted to make a cocktail based off the one that she had and liked in Indianapolis and make it here so that she'd have to come here to have it. See, this is my thought of trying to reel her in and make sure she comes back to me. Not that I have any doubts. Anywho, so what are we going to do? Well, first of all, we're going to swap up the base on this. And since we're going with rum as a base, we're also going to swap out the sour, which is usually lemon for an Aviation. We're going to go with lime. So we're going to go with light rum, lime juice, orgeat, and creme de violette, and see how this works out. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if it's not going to work. We'll find out. First of all, we need a ½ ounce of orgeat. Again, orgeat is essentially an almond milk and a sweetener, like a simple syrup. And you can essentially make a simple syrup using an almond milk, at least an almond milk that actually has almond flavor into it. A lot of the almond milks on the market don't actually taste like almond, and you want your almond milk. I make my own. I go through the process of processing the almonds in warm water and letting that sit, and then straining them out in order to create my homemade almond milk, which tastes like almonds. And then put some sugar in that and make a syrup out of it, and that's essentially what this is. I make mine at a 2-to-1 ratio, or pretty darn close, and I do keep it in the fridge, but this thing is stable for long periods of time. All right, we are going to go with a ½ ounce of orgeat. Right there, 1/2 ounce. That is by far the thickest, creamiest, most viscous liquid that is going in this cocktail. And as a consequence, I put it in my jigger first because I'm going to clean it out now with a little lime juice. And we happen to have lime right here. We're going to go with 1 ounce of lime juice. Fresh squeezed, of course. So I haven't said hi to anybody. I don't know if there's actually anybody online. I'm kind of hoping there are, but I can't see. I can't tell if there's anybody online. So that's, maybe I'm just doing this for myself, but that's okay because I haven't made a cocktail for myself in a while. It's also bloody humid down here. I opened up the house today because it was really nice. And now as it's gotten more toward evening, the humidity has risen, and I didn't bother to close up the house and turn the air conditioning on. So I'm just kind of, you know that feeling? Yeah, that feeling. Okay, 1 ounce of lime juice went in there, right? I need 1.5 ounces of light rum. And here I'm actually working. I'm working on what my wife asked me to do, which was to maybe bring down the number of bottles in my rum collection. How many bottles of white rum do I possibly need? All of them. No. So since this calls for a light or clear rum, which doesn't tell me anything about the flavor profile that this might require, I'm going to go with something really clean. We're going to go with the Diplomatico. I'm getting pretty low here. Maybe I can finish this up. Not tonight, no. We're going to go 1.5 ounces. So we're going to pour that. Let's see, there's 3/4. And we're going to do another 3/4. Together 3/4 and 3/4 is 1.5 ounces. Stay in school, do your fractions. There we go. Ta-da. Yes, I could flip this over. There's a 1.5 ounce line right there. I could use that. Yes, I know. I could do that. I didn't. It's fine. Next up, Creme de Violet. Very flowery flavor from the Creme de Violet. Use it in not a lot of drinks. I mean, it's very, very floral and violet, and if you aren't careful with it, you end up with something that sort of tastes like your grandmother's bath soap, which is not what you want to do. We're going to go with a 1/2 ounce of the Creme de Violet. And hopefully we will get a nice kind of purple color for this. Yep, and there we go. That was kind of a scant Creme de Violet. I'm just a little scared of this being too, well, violet. So what we have here is when you make it with gin, so when you make the Aviation or the Garden of Simple, you have the flavors that are infused in the gin to fight back against that floral or to complement that floral note. With the rum, you don't have that so much. This is a pretty clean rum. So I'm a little concerned about how much the flowers are going to play through on this, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, we need some ice in here. We're going to shake that, and then we're going to pour this into a glass. We are going to strain it into the glass. There we go. It is warm in here, baby. All right, lid this up. Shaky, shaky. There we go. It's all shaken. It's nice and cold. It's frosty on the outside. I'm gonna take a taste. Darn, that's pretty freaking delightful. That's ooh. All right, 1 glass frosted coupe. Yeah, I keep frosted coupes in the freezer back there. I don't have a small freezer here, so I can't do that. But it's okay. It'll be fine. Trust me. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, we're just going to single strain this. There we go. This does not look particularly purplish, of course. Part of that is that the orgeat is lending itself sort of a creamy color to this, and so it's not coming through. But what this does have, which is really neat, is sort of an opalescence or sheen, and I'm not even sure how that occurs here, but I'm pretty anxious to give this a try. I need to close that box. There we go. So let's give this a shot. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, that is delightful, actually. It's almost a tinge too sweet for my taste. It's not terribly complex. I think you could get more complexity out of it if you used a different white rum. But so many of your white rum, especially if you used a white rum blend, but so many of your white rum blends have Jamaican in them, and that makes me a little nervous. I don't think that the notes from a Jamaican rum would work particularly well in this cocktail. So what does it taste like? It doesn't really taste like almonds. You're not getting a lot of almond flavor from the orgeat, but it certainly adds a mouthfeel and a sweetness to it, and there's a hint of that almond flavor to it. You do not get a pronounced violet flavor to this either. You do get the flowery, almost not herbaceous, flowery component to this. I do not know why the sound just leaped up from my system as it's playing James Bond, but you know, that's okay. You can play the theme from James Bond fairly loud. It has a lot in common with a daiquiri. I mean, if you think of a daiquiri, but it's not quite that just punch you in the face crispness of a daiquiri, but instead it's mellowed out by the almond and the floral notes of the Creme de Violet. I quite like this. I'm going to call this a success, and Dear wife, if you are watching and you want one of these, you know the only place you can get it is here. Okay, it's not actually true because I just gave you the recipe. You could probably hand it to any bartender in a semi-competent bar and they could make it for you. But I can make it for you right here. Right here. Come home, sweetie. I love you. Does this sound way desperate? I'm really not that desperate. I'm just kind of kidding here. She's been gone for a week and a half or so. And it's just, we both miss each other. We were on the phone earlier today and we're just like, I want you here. I want to be there. Like, you do realize that I've been like scooting all over the bed while I go to sleep. So we're going to have to work out who gets what side of the bed again. But it'll all be fine. We love each other. It'll be good. Speaking of good, I'm going to have another sip of this. So to the usual tiki music, I added a blues station to this, to the rotation, just because I wanted a little blues, and it seems to work. I'm thinking I'm enjoying these blues notes coming through tonight. So I don't know. All right. So what else did I do? I watched way too much TV while she was gone. All sorts of things that I was either screening for her. By the way, you don't have to watch The Samaritan. Or things that I knew she really wouldn't care about. Yesterday, I watched way too much Dice Tower, going through their top 10 lists of various things. And that's been enjoyable, but I kind of wished I'd gotten off my butt and actually done a few other things. But it's also been a time to catch up on some sleep this weekend, because, yeah, last week, not so much on the sleep. There are comments. I can see the comments, sort of. Dana and Ross, hey, yay. Elizabeth is here. Star says it doesn't help that she's bringing home 4 bottles of alcohol while I'm only killing partially 1. Yeah, well, that's true. Let's see. Wife goes out of town, buys a bottle of rums to ensure that I return. You make drinks to one up her. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Let's see. Greg says hi. Hi, Greg. Keith says hi. Hi, Keith. Elizabeth says hi to Dunder. I have no idea where Dorley is. She's probably totally ignoring me. Yes, please. I don't know what the yes, please is. Oh, probably make me one of these. Yeah, it did come out really pretty. Wow, I can actually. So here's the trick. I can either see the comments or I can see the camera broadcast. So I'm just going to have to remember to look at the camera. And yeah, Russ and Dana, you can give me all the grief you want to about me having to move my glasses on and off, because we're all about the same age. So, there we go. Is there more in here? There is. Ta-da. I was trying to figure out what I should be drinking and mixing up this evening. And what ended up happening was that, yeah, doesn't this look ominous? Here's 3 shot glasses lining up in front of me. I ended up pawing through the Total Tiki app to see what was on there and what I can make and what I can't make off of that app. As it turns out, there are 8 cocktails in the app, in the entirety of the app, that I am missing 2 or more ingredients from. And there's something like 30 that I am missing 1 ingredient from being able to do. Now, some of these are, if you wanted to do this drink, you would make that ingredient the time of, like, oh, a custom-made home sage liqueur, or puree of maraschino cherries, you know, things like that, which I'm certainly not going to keep on hand. So I'm not too worried about those. But there are a few that call for a particular liqueur or liqueurs that I don't have, which, oh, there's Dorley, yay, okay, so I have both cats, excellent. One of those is a honey liqueur from Germany called Bärenjäger. Now, it has nothing to do with Jägermeister. Now, just aside from the fact that they both come from Germany, there's nothing in common with the two. Bärenjäger means something like bear hunter. Yeah, that's right, Bärenjäger. Bärenjäger, yeah, Bärenjäger. Because Jäger is hunter, Baron, like Baron from Bjorn from Lord of the Rings. Anyway, so I don't actually have that, but I was thinking to myself, from the description, it sounds like it's a honey liqueur. I have other honey liqueurs, so I thought to myself, well, let me hop on the interwebs and see, are there common substitutions for Baron Jaeger? Most places say, no, there's nothing that you can compare it to. And then others go, oh yeah, sure, you can replace it with this or with that or with this other thing. Okay, what are other honey liqueurs that you could replace it with? Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe you could replace it with Glavia. Yep, Glavia is a honey liqueur from Scotland. You could replace it with Drambuie. You could replace it with... The strangest one I saw was, hey, why don't you try replacing it with Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey and see how that goes. And I went, well, I got 2 of those, and I think I have a bottle of Drambuie somewhere. Certainly, I have a bottle of Drambuie. I know I do. But I can't find it. So I don't know where my bottle of Drambuie is. I just know I have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little taste test here of the Glavia and the Tennessee Honey from Jack Daniel's. And then I'm going to make an educated guess on which one of these I want to use. Because, you know, if I can make a decent substitution that makes these drinks worthwhile, well, then I don't have to go out and buy a bottle of Baron Jaeger, and that cuts down on the bottles. Yeah, I know, there's a great big giant bottle of Jack Daniel's honey liqueur. A, I like it. B, in the summer, mixed with lemonade or limeade, man, that is tasty stuff. Okay, so here we go. Glavia. This is, by the way, what I use to make rusty nails with. A nice scotch and a shot of this in there, and you have an instant rusty nail. Usually it's made with Drambuie, so I'm switching Glavia and Drambuie pretty constantly. Smells like honey. That has a very distinct Jack Daniel's honey smell to it. I can't, it's almost a honeycomb scent, but there's an unmistakable note of whiskey there. So we're gonna taste this. Yeah, it is very Drambuie-like. Very, very. In fact, if I had my bottle of Drambuie here, I'm not sure in a blind taste test I could tell the difference between the 2 of them. Finish is different. And I think the Drambuie is sweeter. Okay, let's try the Jack Daniel's honey. Much less sweet. There's some spicy notes to it. There's definitely a whiskey taste to it. You can tell that there's Jack Daniel's there, especially on the finish. What are we talking about in percentages? So it's 35%. 35%, no difference there. Well, I think what I've got to do is go with the Glavia, go with my gut that this is going to be the closer thing that I have to the Baron Jaeger. And if it makes a really lousy cocktail, maybe what I'll do is I'll switch and I'll try to use the Honey Jack. But I don't want to have too many cocktails here because I don't have anyone to share them with. So, and I have to get up early in the morning because I've got to be at work early. Not as early as Jens has to be there. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to do a drink called the Beachnik. And the Beachnik starts out, well, first of all, the Beachnik is a blended drink, so I don't need this right now. What I need is one of these. It starts off with a ½ ounce of Baron Jaeger. Okay, so I need this guy. We're just going to dump this in here. Wow, that's pretty freaking close to a ½ ounce. I'm a little surprised. Okay, here we go. It's a little light on the ½ ounce, so we're just going to go a couple of drops. There we go. How's that? There. We'll do a mixture. Then there's Liqueur 43. 43, as it's sometimes known. Liqueur 43. This goes in at 3/4 of an ounce. I first got introduced to this by the bartender Nate at Vermilion, which I'm happy to say has reopened. Vermilion is just a phenomenal place to eat dinner, and their bar has traditionally been quite good and resulted in a friendship with Nate that we have to this day. Next up, the actual Beachnik uses lemon juice, and I was afraid that I didn't have any lemons, so I was like, oh man, the lime juice is not going to go with this. But as it turns out, I found out I did have some lemons, so we're all good. So here's some lemon juice. We're going to go 3 ounces of lemon juice. I'm sorry, 3/4, yeah, 3/4 of an ounce. 3 ounces? Colleen, hi! 3/4 of an ounce. 3 ounces of lemon juice would be way too much for whatever cocktail you might be doing. Just gonna say. Even large format cocktails, that's an awful lot of lemon juice. We're going 3/4 of an ounce, right? Half ounce Baron Yager, 3/4 ounce Liqueur 43, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, 1.5 ounces of light rum. Let's just go ahead and go with the, ooh. We'll see how much we get here. 1.5 ounces, huh? Dun, 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 dun. Do we have? Oh, we are not going to get there. There's 3/4 of an ounce. Hun, you are watching? Look at this. Look what we got here. Oh, dead soldier. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. We gotta mix rums. Sorry, folks. It's gonna get a little weird. We're gonna mix the Panamanian Selvaret, but very little. We're just barely short. There you go. So there's 1.5 ounces of white rum. It doesn't specify anything other than that. And then we need 8 ounces. So there we're done. The Baron Yager, the Liqueur 43, the lemon juice, light rum, 8 ounces of crushed ice, and this gets blended for, I think it's like 10 seconds. I want a long blend on this. 8 ounces. There's an 8-ounce scoop. I can go in there. Put this back together. 10 seconds. That's 10 seconds. All right. Now we're going to pour this in a custom drink mug. We're going to go here. We're going to use the Inuele goblet. I'm going to trip on the rug here. Looking good. And this just goes in unstrained. Just like that. I'm going to give a quick taste of this. Why? I don't need to use a straw. I'm the only one drinking here tonight. This is a little big. The glass is a little big for it. I'm tempted to throw some more crushed ice in there, but I don't think so. What I will do is add, because I'm going to add some cubes to bring up the ice level. There, that looks better to me. The larger cubes won't melt as fast, so I think we'll be okay here. I'm going to stick a straw in there. Oh, what kind of straw should I use? I have a whole bunch of straws. They all seem to come from this one place called Surfside Sips. They make really cool straws, like this one, which is a Cthulhu tentacle, or an octopus tentacle, or something along those lines, or an albino squid tentacle. I don't know. I like it. We like Surfside Sips. If you like their straws or want to give them a try, you can at a 20% discount by just using the promo code Lovecraft, L-O-V-E-C-R-A-F-T, on the Surfside Sips website. Sorry, I didn't mean to smack the mic. That was probably pretty loud. Anyway, so here we have the Beachnik, Baron Yager, Liqueur 43, lemon juice, and light rum. That's all that's in here. It's a pretty tart little guy. I don't know if the Bärenjäger would stand up more. It would be more sweet. I think this is pretty well balanced. The tartness is maybe a little strong. I almost want to back out like a 1/4 ounce of the lemon juice and add in a 1/4 ounce of the lime juice instead. But it could also be that in comparison to this tastes a little more tart. So I don't know. It doesn't wow me. It's a real simple drink. There's not a lot of complexity here in this particular cocktail. But it's called the Beachnik, so, you know, how bad could it possibly be? It would be nice just hanging out on the back patio like this evening while it's incredibly humid out there. I think this would be a perfectly lovely drink. Maybe add just a tinge more of, say, the Glavia or the honey liqueur from Jack Daniels. Either of those would be fine. Maybe we can try that. Okay, there. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Give that a shot. I wanted the honey note to be more pronounced. Overshot. Now, this tells me that you should not use the Jack Daniels honey liqueur for this cocktail. The whiskey power of the Jack Daniels doesn't require much to take it over. So if you're going to do the Beachnik, I would use either the Glavia or the Drambuie if you have them. If not, go forth and buy yourself a bottle of the Bärenjäger and then let me know how it is. Especially if you're local and we can split a bottle of the Bärenjäger. How's that? That sounds good to me. Especially since I'm down a bottle because I can't find my bottle of Drambuie, right? That's how it works? Maybe? Okay, probably not. All right, so what we got this evening is the Aviation variant or the Garden of Simple variant that came in really tasty. This is very definitely in Star's wheelhouse as far as cocktails. Probably Huey would really like this one, I'm thinking as well. Huey's tastes skew a little on the sweet side. Yeah, the Jack Daniels takes that over. It's too pronounced. So there's my my lesson for the day, is that I have to be very careful about using the Jack Daniels honey liqueur as the sweetener component for something that requires a honey liqueur, because the Jack Daniels elements will take over the cocktail. I'm curious, she may even be, no, she's not on the road because she'd commented. So I don't know if she's pulled over in a rest stop somewhere and watching, or if she's in a hotel or what. But anyway, while you're traveling, in your travels, while you are driving through the United States of America, it is always a good thing to note that different states have different liquor laws. And even if states have alcohol control boards so that the state itself is controlling what liquor can be sold in that state, one ABC store and another ABC store in a different state may have very differing selections and some very different price points. For example, I believe my wife managed to find some bottles of Ronda Barrilito 3-Star, which our rule is if we find it in the $40 range, we buy it. If it's anywhere under 50, essentially, we buy it because we like it that much and it's such a staple for making cocktails around here. And she found it for like 45, 47, something along those lines. So yeah, I mean, and I think it was Indiana that she found that. And of course, you know, you run into the problem though of you find things that you're like, oh, we need that to restock the bar. Hey, what is this other thing? And then you bring home extra bottles of various sundry things. So that's what's happening. I'm making cocktails for the wife to bring her home. She's bringing me new rums and restocking some old rums. So it's all going to work out in the end. We're going to have a happy time, and next Sunday maybe we'll use some of that. All right, so the last and final drink, unless there is rest stop, she's at a rest stop in Ohio. Oh, okay, all right. Look at that. I'm actually, this is cool. I'm actually playing with comments and looking at the camera. And wow, maybe I can do this flying solo. It's still so much easier when the wife is responding to comments and questions. Anyway, last drink, also from the Total Tiki app, also using Bärenjäger. This is a drink called the Von Tiki. Von because, of course, well, German, right? That's the only reason why the Von is there. This is, to the best of my recollection, is a Jeff Berry special. He did this one. It's either that or the Beachnik that he did. I think it's the Von Tiki that he did. And this is even more simple. So this has an ounce of the Bärenjäger, or in this case, Glavia, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 1 ounce of Barbados rum. So you got a wide choice there of what you could do, particularly at price points. And then 1 teaspoon of Stroh rum, S-T-R-O-H. And the recommended substitution in the recipe is if you don't have that, use Angostura 1919. Well, I don't own Stroh, but I do own Angostura 1919. I keep a bottle of this on hand because this is really good stuff. I mean, it's good stuff for its price point. It's a very, very good mixing rum that you can actually sip as well. So really like it. So I always keep a bottle of 1919 on hand. What I'm confused about is what a half teaspoon of Ango 1919 is going to bring to this particular cocktail. I don't get it. I don't understand it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it without the Ango 1919. And then I'm going to pour that into a glass. I'm going to take a sip of it. And then I'm going to add a half teaspoon of the Ango. And we'll see if there's a difference. I'm guessing not much, but we'll find out. So we're going to use a shaker. I need to start with the sweetest of my ingredients, which is the Bärenjäger, or in this case, the Glavia. Right here. 1 full ounce of the Bärenjäger. Bärenjäger. I don't know why I want to call it Jager. Jager. But it is not Jager. No, it is Jaeger. Alright, so there's an ounce. 1 ounce Barbados rum. Since I'm playing with cocktails, I'm not going to go reaching for my high-quality Foursquare rums. We are going to go with a Barbados rum produced by Foursquare, which is RL Steels, or RL Seals. And this is a good, solid rum and has become much more available in the States these days. Much more available in the DC metro area as well. You can also get RL Seals at most of your Total Wine stores that actually sell hard alcohol. So there you go. Really good stuff, cheap price point, really nice mixing and sipping rum. We're going to go full ounce of this Barbados rum. Full ounce. Then we need 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Okay, 3/4 ounce lime juice. Liking the music this evening? I'm digging it. This is very different than what I've been listening to most of this week, which is stuff like Crystal Method, which, you know, very, very different from this. Okay, so there we go. We're going to shake this with some ice cubes. So it's kind of like, it's a daiquiri, right? I mean, this is a daiquiri that is sweetened with Bärenjäger. That's all this is. Although it's a little light on the alcohol presence. So, I don't know. Let's find out. A little more James Bond tunes. Not sure why those are getting privileged play this evening, but it's okay by me. You don't want me singing. Not that there's any lyrics to this. Well, there are actually lyrics to this. But you don't want to hear me sing. So this is the Blue Stingrays doing their version of Goldfinger as a surf rock instrumental. Shaky, shaky. There you go. I could easily serve this in a coupe, but I'm not. We're not going to do that. I'm going to reach in here, find some other glass to put this in. We're going to go with the goblet, small goblet here. Apparently didn't get that as clean as I wanted to. Okay, we're going to strain this into there, right? Yes, it says strain into a cocktail glass. Strainer. Very pale, looks sort of like the Beachnik. But not crystal clear like your traditional daiquiri. Which they're not really crystal clear because they've got all the ice shards in them, but still. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna do the taste test in order here. What do we like? I'm gonna let this sit for a moment, so we're gonna get to that last. So first thing up is the total unfair comparison, the HMS Princessa Admiral Rodney special release. I'm taking that upstairs and finishing it by my bedside this evening. That's what's happening with that one. Next up. The Aviation Garden of Simple variation. I need a name for this. The Garden of Simple made with rum. Garden of rum? Garden of sugarcane? I don't know. Wow. After tasting other things, it certainly comes across as sweet. Not badly sweet, but, you know, you're drinking a high-quality rum here, and then you go directly to this. It's like, oh, okay. Still good. Shuffle Down Mama by Howie Campbell on the album Northern Roots, Southern Soul. Don't know it. Don't know the artist, actually, but so far so good. Okay, here's the Beachnik. Now that's settled down with a little bit of dilution. I still think it would have been better using all Glavia, and I'd be really interested in trying it with the Baron Jaeger, just to know what that comes across as. But no, that's growing on me. That honey lemon. Yeah, this is almost like that honey jack lemonade. It's not quite that tart, but there's a little more complexity going on with it than just that lemonade. Yeah, that's good. Gets better as it sits. Although I don't want it to dilute too much further. And then we have our daiquiri variation, the Von Tiki. So let's give this a taste. We're going simple this evening, obviously you can tell. We're not doing pineapple juice and mango juice or passion fruit syrup or anything along those lines. All very basic stuff here. Assuming, of course, you call having honey liqueur on your bar to be simple. Interesting that I'm not getting enough honey flavor from this, so I wonder if the Baron Jaeger really brings more honey flavor to the table. But there's a half teaspoon of the Ango that's missing from this, and I said I would taste, because I didn't think the half teaspoon would really do anything. So let's do this. Let's reach for the Ango. This is a full teaspoon. We're not going to go that much, but we are going to move this slightly further away from my face so I can actually see it with these glasses. All right. There we go. So that goes in there. going to just stick this in here, spin this around. So this is a near approximation of what this drink would have tasted like if I had dropped the half teaspoon of the 1919 in before shaking. It's probably a little warmer, but that's okay. No, no, can't be. Damn it. There is a reason why I'm not a professional. Sure enough, just that little half teaspoon makes a difference. That hollow spot that I was finding, it just gets kind of filled in. I mean, not really well filled in. It's not like, you know, I mean, it's sort of like someone shoveling gravel into a pothole. You know, it's not a permanent fix, but man, that does. There's a note that's missing from it. Without that when you put that in there, it just makes it a smoother ride. Yeah, half teaspoon of a pretty neutral rum. I mean, it certainly has flavor to it, but it's a column still. It's pretty clean stuff. Yeah, it fills out that hollow spot. Jeff, it's a good cocktail. Wow, I'm pleasantly surprised by this. So there we go. What do we have comments? Looked away for a second. Did you do with or without the Ango? Oh, I did without, and then I added it, and it turns out that, well, followed by never mind. Oh, got it. I'm one step behind constantly. I think this is most to my taste, actually. Star will like this one best. I like this one best. Yeah. I want to try something with this, which is just add just a dash of the bitters to it to give it one more note. I think both of us would be happy with this, but of the three, Star is probably going to go 1, 2, 3, and I will go 1, 2, 3 on these. Even though that's good, it's just a little on the sweet side for my palate, but my palate is a little unusual. So what am I going to do? I think what this could benefit from... No, not those. I need my 1821... Yep. The Havana and Hyde bitters. I think if we just go 1, 2, like 2 drops of bitters. I'm not even doing full dashes here. I'm going to stick this back in and spin this around. And here I'm now that the 1919 has filled out the whole, I'm trying to add just one more note of complexity to the cocktail. And I think what it needed was that olfactory kind of leathery component to it, add some depth to it. The other thing I thought about doing was just adding a drop of absinthe to it and see how that went. There we go. Yep. Now there's a hint of complexity where there was just like a gravel fill over that piece. Now it's a smooth road, but there's something to watch while you're driving over it. I don't know. I'm pulling this analogy apart here. It doesn't work anymore. But no, that's quite good with just a dash of bitters to it. This, see, now that I'm thinking about it, because I like the honey lemonade, and there's a number of bars that do an alcoholic lemonade that use lavender. And do I have lavender bitters? No. At least I don't think so. You know it's bad when you're like, do I not have lavender? But what I do have is 1821's Earl Grey bitters. And I think that might help this. Just one full dash there. I also could have used the Magnolia bitters, not the tart cherry and saffron. There we go. Today was the day of watching football. So of course I had to have wings. I'm a little tired of ordering out, so I made my own wings this evening. Molasses, some hot sauce, um, some like Lowry's Southwest Chipotle seasoning, and some Worcestershire sauce. Came out beautifully, quite tasty. A little on the hot side, but not too bad. Hotter than the wife would like, but then again, she's not going to get a chance to eat them, so it's okay. Oh yeah, that's much better. Oh, that is so much better with just that one dash. Oh my goodness. Mmm. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that works. That works better. It complements the honey jack flavor to it. I still think this would be better without the honey jack and just using the Glavia, in which case maybe the Earl Grey bitters wouldn't be the right choice. All right, I've done 3 cocktails. I still have all 3 in front of me that I need to drink, and there's a glass of rum here that I need to finish off this evening. I'm not going to pour it back in the bottle. Ew, that'd be icky. So I think what I'm going to do is call it quits here. We are right under the hour mark, unless there are questions. If anybody has any questions. So where can I get Baron Jaeger? I've seen it at the local ABC stores. I just knew that I had honey liqueurs, so I was like, why do I get another one when I don't know what it tastes like? If I see it on the back of somebody's bar, though, you better believe I'm going to ask for a taste of it so that I can do a sort of mental comparison to what it's like to Glavia, Drambuie, and Honey Jack. Lesson learned from this evening. Be careful with the Honey Jack. It just brings that whiskey sense to it that I don't think is the right sense for these kinds of cocktails. Maybe if I was doing something that was more whiskey related, that would complement it a little better. But then again, the 2 whiskeys might not play well together. So maybe a rye-based cocktail using the honey jack as a sweet component of it would work, because then the honey jack will kind of play off of the spiciness of the rye, and that might all work together. Tart, crisp. Too much honey jack. And that's just a little on the sweet side. All right, we're gonna call it quits. Unless anybody's got any questions, we're gonna give this up for the evening. I got nothing more to say other than next weekend we should be back to having a full crew here, having the wife here and me here, and we should be, as far as I know, broadcasting from home. So we'll make this all work and have a good time. So happy, I think it's Hispanic Heritage Month, Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month out there. So happy Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. And let me end on this note. You'll appreciate this, I think. So we do have these occasional courses that we can take. Not courses. They're like a couple hour long class or lunch and learn kind of things at work. And one of the exercises there was trying to teach us about race and ethnicity, and race and ethnicity, how that plays out in the workplace. And one of the questions that was asked was, what culture do you most identify with? And of course, you got European or Scandinavian, you got Japanese culture, you got Spanish culture, you got Bolivian, you got all sorts of different things. But I gotta say, when it comes down to it, and maybe this is just my privilege speaking, I kind of associate most with nerd culture, whether that's gaming culture, science fiction and fantasy nerddom, comic culture, anime culture, or even cocktail culture. I'm into the nerdy aspects of that, figuring out how it's done, knowing some of the arcana of it, and what do I like most about that culture is, and why it's so important to me, I think, is the element of the chosen family, right? You're choosing the people that you are close to, and they are choosing to be close to you. There's not an artificial like structure there to bring you together. and the fact that you are brought together by shared interests, not by something you don't have any control over. So I think that is cool. So I thought you might appreciate that. I don't know why. I thought you might appreciate that note. Apparently this has been enough cocktails in a short enough period of time that I'm just rambling, but we are hitting right at that point where I need to say goodnight. Goodnight, Gracie. Yeah, I'm old, so that's why I can say things like goodnight, Gracie.